So we will also get it posted to either Marnie or Justin's YouTube channel so that you guys have it. We are going to be doing all-inclusive trainings next month also. I may switch up the slides depending on how it all goes. Would love some feedback if you guys have any, just so that we can continue to improve and get everybody all the questions and answers that they need. I am going to leave open the chat box so you guys can type in questions that you have. I'll probably check it every once in a while and then answer questions at the end. So all-inclusive 102, we're going to take a deeper dive into what all-inclusive means. There's actually inclusive, all-inclusive, and ultra-inclusive. So that's kind of how the umbrella, when you hear somebody talk about all-inclusive properties, it's kind of broken out into 3 different sections under one big umbrella. So we have inclusive. What does that mean, and how do I qualify my clients for an inclusive property, and what is the best value for my client? So inclusive means that some things are included in their vacation, but not everything. So maybe breakfast is included with a certain amount of, 2 alcoholic drinks per day. Maybe it means that dinner is included and that's the only meal that's included. Maybe it means that breakfast is included with some non-motorized water sports. So it can mean a whole lot of different things. And it's our responsibility as travel advisors to make sure we research that for our clients and figure out exactly what's included with what resort they're looking at. How do I qualify my clients for an inclusive property? The biggest thing on this one is a lot of people will say, well, I'm not a drinker. I don't want to pay for an all-inclusive property that maybe the alcoholic drinks are included because I'm not going to have that. So that's one way. If you have a client that you start talking to and they tell you that, maybe an inclusive property is best for them. But also remember that all drinks are included, even non-alcoholic drinks with all inclusive. So, it's a weigh it out and figure out for your clients what it's the best value. And that kind of falls into what we're talking about for the best value. If they don't want to pay the high price for all inclusive or, inclusive, maybe going what they call an EP plan, which is the European plan where nothing is included. Maybe that's the way to go for them. But that is our responsibility. And I'll stress this over and over and over again. It's our responsibility as travel advisors to really talk with our clients and get to know them and figure out what is the best value for them. So going to an all-inclusive means usually all your food, all your drinks, all your sometimes non-motorized water sports for the majority of the time. Taxes and tips are included. So this is a good way, and we talk about this a lot in 101. This is a great way to get one bulk price for your clients so that they don't have to sit and figure out, how much am I going to owe, every meal for a tip? How much am I going to owe for that extra? If I want to have 2 drinks with dinner instead of just 1 glass of wine, how much am I going to owe for that extra glass of wine? They don't have to figure that all in. It's much less stress for them. They can come up with one price and they're done. We've done it. My husband and I have done it. I have clients that do tip on top of, and it's very well received. It's very appreciated in, the countries that do all inclusives. Some resorts absolutely forbid you from tipping. So Sandals is one of them. They do not allow you to tip their staff. It's frowned upon. Some resorts, which we've been to a couple, they'll say, please don't tip our staff. We don't want you to do that. They work for their money and we pay them well. You'll see people kind of slip them a little handshake with maybe a $5 bill wrapped up in it. So that's kind of common. And of course that worker is not going to tell on you. They're going to accept that very happily because that's a big thing for them. Being the best value for an all-inclusive, you'll kind of see in the picture, this is breakfast, but this is very common at a lot of resorts. You can get as much as you want. You can get as little as you want. And the bonus here is if you have somebody that wants to go and try a new restaurant at dinner, say they don't like it. You know, they go to the Asian grill or the Japanese steakhouse and they decide, yeah, that wasn't my deal. They can walk right down the hallway or right down the pathway to the buffet and get a whole nother meal and never pay for it. So the value in an all-inclusive is extensive when it comes to people realizing what their vacation budget is. They don't have to factor in food. They don't have to factor in the tips if they don't want to tip additionally. They don't have to factor in entertainment value because you have the non-motorized water sports. You have the the nightly entertainment at the resort. So it's all included there. But once again, it's our responsibility to find out exactly what that means with each resort. And we're going to talk a little bit later in a couple slides, some of the resorts that are all inclusive, some that are inclusive, and some that are what we're going to call ultra inclusive. So this picture is my absolute favorite. I have it saved on my computer. This is Couples Negril. One of my favorite ultra inclusive properties. There's 4 properties. They're only in Jamaica. They are a huge honeymoon destination. They have a great agent program that we'll talk about here at the end. Not very small, but smaller resorts, not mega resorts with thousands of rooms. But a great vibe there. A little bit quieter. They don't have a whole lot of party atmosphere, but it's great for honeymooners. Ultra inclusive means that there's more included than the standard, of course, all inclusive. So ultra inclusive leads you to believe a higher budget, which is absolutely true. Usually ultra inclusives rank on the higher end of a client's budget. It does mean usually that the food, number one, is better. And that they're going to get more bang for their buck. So they may have a excursion that is included with their tour. Like at Couples, they have glass bottom boat rides that are included in the stay. They have a sunset catamaran sailing that's included in their stay. So that's going to be your ultra inclusive model. How do you qualify your clients for an ultra all-inclusive? Big foodies. A lot of foodies go towards the ultra all-inclusives because the food is better. Clients that have the extra dollars to spend, the extra money, maybe it's an anniversary, maybe it's a honeymoon like we talked about, maybe it's a wedding destination. You're booking, several, the wedding couple and 10 other couples to go for the wedding. So ultra inclusive is a big, usually 99% of the time, a little bit higher dollar amount, but well worth it because they are getting the value in that. Best value for ultra all inclusive is to look to see what excursions they have that are included in that. Like we talked about the glass bottom boat ride, the sunset catamaran sailing. A lot of times if you price those on their own, they can be up to $100 or up per person sometimes for that value. So that's extra added in value. Sometimes ultra all-inclusives include maybe a spa treatment, which we all know at a resorts can be pretty pricey. So it really just depends on what your client's looking for. If they're looking, for no kids, a lot of adults only are considered ultra all-inclusive because they're kind of that higher end. So a couple that I pulled off of the internet just by searching. So inclusive properties, there's the Emerald Beach Resort in St. Thomas. We would consider that an inclusive only property. You get a $50 credit at the hotel that you can spend towards whatever you want. Non-motorized water sports are included in the price of the room, and they do have a complimentary shuttle to and from the airport along with to and from town. So for me, that's considered an inclusive property because they do have some things that are included in that. Now they're not getting meals included, so it wouldn't fall under an all-inclusive because it's not including everything within their vacation. It is going to require tipping, but they do have some extra added values in this with the non-motorized water sports, so say kayaks or boogie boards or something like that, and they get the complimentary shuttle, so they're not having to pay for that. They're not having to get a taxi to go into town to go shopping or to a different restaurant or something like that. The La Palma Lodge, which is what the picture is of in Costa Rica, the meals here are included, but the drinks are not. So it's still an inclusive property because they are getting a value for their money, but they are not, it's not considered all inclusive in the fact that not everything falls under the umbrella. And then non-motorized water sports are also included in that. So this is probably the more difficult one to kind of qualify your clients with, because it really just depends on what they're looking for. You know, maybe they want to go out and try the local restaurants and the local eateries, then maybe an all-inclusive is not what you want to put them in, because then they're going to feel like they're wasting money and they paid for something that they're not using. The inclusive properties, like what we just spoke of, gives them the chance to go and feel the local culture. It gets them the chance to go in and, you know, find that exact resort that they're looking for. A lot of times inclusive properties are your more boutique properties, so they get the smaller feel. And a lot of times they can also be a more luxurious property, but they're going to pay out the money, you know, pay out of pocket for that also. All-inclusive samples, super easy. This is my go-to on what I sell. Been in the business a long time, and it's kind of became my specialty, just because it is easy. Once the client books it, they come back, and we always joke. I always tell my clients when they get back from an all-inclusive, make sure you pay for your dinner when you go out, when you get back from vacation, that you don't just get up and walk away from your table because that's what you've been doing for a week because it was already paid for. My husband and I have caught ourselves a couple different times doing the same thing. We'll start walking out and we're like, oh crap, we're not on vacation anymore. We need to pay for our meal. So some of the all-inclusive samples that are kind of the more popular are AM Resorts, which is an umbrella of Dreams, Secrets, and the Now properties, which now is kind of, a lot of the Now properties are switching over to Dreams properties. But this is huge, great family of resorts there. The Ryu properties, we'll talk about them also in agent perks and bonuses, but they are a great family. They're based out of Europe, actually in Spain. So there are some properties in Spain, but they're all over the Caribbean and Mexico. They are my go-to personally when I'm booking families that have a moderate budget, sometimes even a strict budget. They have started opening some adults only properties, which are the higher end. So if you have a little bit more money to play with, you can look at some of those, but they're all over. Sandos properties is a great budget conscious property for all inclusives. They're not super huge, but they get good reviews for people that are, you know, on a pretty strict budget. Margaritaville is one of the new ones that opened, Mexico and the Caribbean. They are under the Charisma family, which is also another great one for agent benefits and perks. Margaritaville, some of their other properties in the Charisma family is going to be in the ultra all-inclusive category, which we'll talk about here in just a little bit. Iberostar, Barcelo, and Hard Rock Hotels. Barcelo has tons of resorts, so does Iberostar. Qualify your client pretty well on what they, you know, what they're looking for. Both the Ryu, Iberostar, and Barcelo all have properties that fall within great budget conscious clients, but some of them are not on the beach. So make sure that you're, you know, well aware of that, and that you understand what clients are beachfront and which client, you know, which properties are off the beach just a little bit. Doesn't mean that, you know, most of them have a shuttle every 15 minutes to and from the beach, and it's maybe a 3 or 4 minute ride, but it does make a huge difference in the price when you're pricing it out for your clients. And it'll make a huge difference when you're qualifying your clients on if, you know, if that's important to them. Hard Rock Hotels, we all know about those. They kind of speak for themselves. They usually do have an adults only section within the hotel. So if, you know, you can get both of those, if you have families that are wanting to travel or just adults only, you can get them in both sectors there. They can sometimes be a little pricey, but a lot of people love them. They give more off of the party vibe. So if you have clients that you're qualifying for certain things, Hard Rock's a great way to look at it that way. Ultra all-inclusive, we talked a little bit about the couples resorts in Jamaica, 4 resorts throughout Jamaica. One of the resorts, and I can't remember, I think it's the San Sushi one that's in Negril, actually doesn't even have TVs in their rooms. So that's something to keep in mind when you're qualifying a client. They're all about health and wellness and kind of the sports vibe resort. Then Sandals Resorts, which we all know about. great honeymoon properties, lots of room categories to choose from. I find them a little bit confusing to book myself, but tons of people book them. I've booked them, have always had great results with them. I do know that some of their properties went through some renovation recently, so that'll be a bonus. If you have somebody looking at a Sandals resort, find out for sure if it just went through a renovation or not. Unico 2087, which is a newer resort down in Playa del Carmen area, Riviera Maya section south of Cancun. Extremely high end, great room categories, big push towards adults only and kind of that higher end client. Calabash Cove in St. Lucia. Big honeymoon property for somebody that wants something a little different. It is a smaller property. There's not a lot of mega properties on St. Lucia. There's a couple Sandals, but Calabash Cove is very high end, known for their food, that type of thing. Excellence properties would fall for me into the ultra all-inclusive. Some people would put them in all-inclusive. It really just depends on how you're going to qualify your client for that. Lots more, you know, and where they fall within the categories that are listed really just depend, especially between the ultra all-inclusive and the all-inclusive, depends on how you qualify your client. You know, you may have somebody that's always been on a budget and they're truly splurging for this vacation. Then maybe an adults only RIU property is going to be ultra all-inclusive for them. Maybe they're going to consider that's a once in a lifetime trip. So it really just depends on you qualifying your client on exactly what they're looking for. If they're looking for great food, if they're looking, for great beach, great pools, whatever it is, you have to remember in this all-inclusive sector, RIU has tons of properties, Barcelo has tons of properties, Iberostar has tons of properties. So the food is going to be a lot of the same, whatever resort you're at. They're all going to have a Japanese steakhouse. They're all going to have a seafood restaurant that's, usually only open for dinner, that type of thing. A lot of RIUs have what's called the All-American Diner. So keep that in mind. They all have the same basic blueprint of a property. The Palace resorts, the RIU Palace resorts are a little bit higher end than just the standard RIUs, which means the rooms are a little bit nicer. The grounds are a little bit nicer. They may have more pools. They may have more restaurants to choose from, but overall the blueprint's going to be the same. Unico, 2087, they have one and one only resort. Calabash Cove, there's one resort. It's not a big chain. Sandals, of course, have plenty, but they market to that higher end client. Couples has 4 and they market to kind of that higher end client. Same with Excellence. They have multiple properties. I'm not sure exactly how many, but their marketing is geared towards that higher end. So great agent programs. This is where, if you guys want to take notes, it's awesome. There's a lot of information. I think Marnie and I actually talked about, and Justin talked about doing a training next month for just agent programs and agent benefits. I could be on here for a whole nother hour talking about them because there are so many. But just to hit on a few, the couples resorts, you can sign up on their website. They have a whole travel agent portal. Once you've booked them, you can book them through any tour operator. So Apple Vacations or FunJet or any of those. You don't have to book through the website directly. You can go on to the website, register your booking. After you've registered with them, you get 1 free night for every 7 nights that you book. So if you have 3 couples that want to go off on an anniversary trip, they book 7 nights each, you're going to get 3 free nights for that. And those free nights are good for up to a year. And then on top of that, you're going to get $10 bonus cash or bonus commission for every night that's booked. So if you have 3 couples, each book 7 nights, my math's not great, but from what I understand, that'd be $210 extra in your pocket that they're going to mail to you as a check. It comes directly to you, to your home address, made out to you. Go and cash it and have a good time. Go out for dinner on that bonus. Am Resorts, same thing. You can become sign up with within their travel agent portal. You earn points towards free nights and bonus commissions. They run a lot of specials through different tour operators for bonus commissions, but you get points towards free nights and or however many nights you've booked throughout the year, you get so many free nights for that. So that's big. And they have so many resorts that fall under their umbrella that can add up pretty quickly. Charisma Resorts, they have a training, same thing. They have several, the Azul properties are part of Charisma, Eldorado Seaside Suites, all the Eldorado properties, Margaritaville properties. Those are all Charisma Resorts that fall under that umbrella. So once you book them, you can register your bookings after you've signed up with their travel agent portal. You can register your bookings there and earn points towards free nights. And they also, after you book so many with them, that you get listed on their website with recognition as an agent with them. So if somebody goes onto Charisma's website looking for an agent to help them book a vacation, your name is listed. So that's huge there. Sandals, you earn free nights after booking so many nights with them. Resorts is the same. You book, you sign up with them in their agent portal, you get points towards a free night. I'm not sure with Sandals and Ryu what the expiration is or if they expire, but I know they give you quite a bit of time to fit that in. So lots and lots and lots here. Palace Resorts, which is another big chain throughout Mexico and Caribbean, like Moon Palace, all of those, they give, you can become a Palace Pro, I think it's called, and register with them, and you earn, points towards free nights. So big there. We can touch next month on training with certain vendors, but Vacation Express, if you guys book with Vacation Express, they have a great agent program for free nights, free flights, bonus cash, all kinds of stuff that you sign up and with them, and you can be invited to fam trips or familiarization trips. So big bonuses with them also. That is basically my presentation. I am going to open up the chat box for questions, and if anybody, feel free to shoot them at me. I'll try my best to answer them. I can kind of, explain what, like I said, Reuse, one of my go-tos, couples resorts for honeymooners are a big one for me. I've stayed at several Reuse. I've, stayed at Dreams, a couple different ones. So whatever you guys have, let me know and I'd be happy to answer. And if you want to ask your question and not type it in the chat box, just unmute yourself and ask away.
Does Grand Palladium have a special promotion?
They have an agent program. Grand Palladium does, yes. And they have several resorts within their umbrella, also kind of what I call their, their business umbrella. I'm not super familiar with that one. I don't book a lot of Grand Palladium. They get pretty mixed reviews. They're a great budget property. They have some properties that get excellent reviews and they have some that don't get great reviews. So I would be very careful about which ones you're booking for them. But definitely, check into their agent portal. All you have to do is, Google Grand Palladium Resorts. Usually the agent portal information is at the very bottom. Once you scroll down, you'll see, travel professionals or travel agent portal or something like that. And you can click on that and figure out, what you have to do to get involved with that. Sometimes there's trainings involved and sometimes there's not. Excuse me. I know with Charisma, you have to do some training with them. And the more training you do, the higher up you rank with the better discounts and promotions. So it just kind of depends on which section you're looking at. I know Sandals has a huge agent education program that can get pretty intense and it can take some people a little while because of all the different room categories and such. But their education is great. Ryu, you don't have to do a lot of education. You can just sign up under, I think it's Ryu Pro is what it's called, or Ryu Agent Pro or something like that. And there's not a lot of education involved with that. That would be Club Med, Jody, and I have not booked. Jody asked, ever booked at Port St. Lucie? I call it St. Lucie, all inclusive in Florida. That's Club Med. That's going to be, Club Med is basically the closest to a true all inclusive that you'll get within the US. A lot of people become members, with them, or, sign up, the actual clients sign up with them and get, great rates and things like that. And I find them personally to be a little expensive for what it is, but you are in the US. So if you have travelers that can't get a passport for whatever reason, they don't want to get a passport, they don't want to travel outside the US, it's a great option to introduce them to the all-inclusive concept. But I personally have never booked it. I've priced it for people and it came out to be pretty pricey. So they actually ended up going, deciding it was worth it for them to go ahead and go to Cancun or something like that. The other bonus is there are all-inclusives. They are very, very limited, but there are all-inclusives in the US Virgin Islands. So if you do have people that I can't pronounce it. There's one in St. Thomas that's an all-inclusive, but the US Virgin Islands is a good spot if you have people that don't have passports that want to try out, an all-inclusive or want to be in that whole Caribbean feel, then the US Virgin Islands is a good spot for them. Have you booked the Club Med, Jody, in Florida? Or anybody on here have, and can give a little bit of insight about it? I priced it just last week for somebody and it was super pricey, but it was around a holiday too. So. What else we got? I'm going to put in the chat box what my phone number is. So if anybody has any questions, they can direct message me. I'm usually on the chats, on Beach Bosses chats. So feel free to ask questions. But that is, I think I just sent it to Joyce directly, but I meant to send it to everybody. Can everybody see my phone number that I just put in the chat box, or is it just going to one person here?
I'm not seeing it.
Okay, here we go. So there is my number. Like I said, feel free to message me if you have a question, if you have a client that's, asking what the best resort for them would be, etc. Be happy to help you guys qualify your clients. This is probably one of the more reasons, one of the biggest reasons to qualify clients is for all inclusives, just because you really want to know what they're shooting for. There is a great Facebook page, and I'm going to put this in the chat box. Travel advisors that sell the Caribbean. There's a Facebook page that you can belong to. It'll ask you a couple questions to fill out to be approved for that Facebook page. But it's travel advisors just like ourselves that go on there and ask questions about different resorts, etc. But you can, you can always ask questions there. It's travel advisors from all over the country. It's not just Archer travel advisors. They're, all over the place. But they are, it's a great way to learn and scroll through that maybe a couple times a day just to get the idea of what people are asking. And then everybody kind of pipes in with their opinion on, what the best resort for XYZ would be. It's a great way to learn, especially if you're new. But you can kind of see what everybody's favorites are. And then that way, kind of where to lead people. If you don't usually sell a lot of St. Lucia or Antigua, that's kind of a an ongoing thing that maybe you get a request for that every once in a while and you haven't studied it very much. So it's great to get information from other people. Your title would just be like a travel agent or a travel advisor if you're registering for couples, and business name. Travel agent is what your title is, and business name could be your personal business name. It doesn't necessarily have to be Archer because they're asking you that for your bonus commission. So you still register under Archer's IATA number, the 058 number, but your business name could be your, whatever you use for Facebook as your actual business name with Facebook. If you don't have one yet, then yes, definitely put Archer in there. And you're still going to get your bonus commissions with them once you've started booking with them. You're very welcome, Isabel.
What was that Facebook page, Shelley?
It's right up in the chat. It's called Travel Advisors That Sell Caribbean or something very similar to that. If you search, yeah, if you search that on Facebook, it'll come up. Like I said, it'll ask you a couple questions like, are you new to the business or something like that, the name of your agency, things like that. And then I did put Archer Travel in there for that. And then it takes the admin on there a couple, just a little while to approve you.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. You're so welcome, Jody. Like I said, if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. We did record all-inclusive 101 training. You guys can, that is listed on Justin's YouTube channel. So you guys can go back and watch that if you want. We are, I believe, and Marnie can set me straight on this, but I think we are going to do the trainings again in July. So hopefully the same time, Wednesdays at 10 a.m. and do 101 one week and 102 the following week. I will, if you guys want me to change up the slides a little bit, I can definitely do that. We can always change up pictures to make us dream of a better vacation. But I will hopefully get it, improve the slides a little bit if they need to be improved and kind of hit on a couple more things. So just let me know what you guys would like on it. And I can see about, addressing that during the actual trainings. Anything else? I would love to hear from anybody on the call that's booked an all-inclusive and where you booked your clients and what they thought of it, because I love to hear everybody's thoughts on, if your clients love the resort or if it was adults only, etc. So if anybody has an insight on that, that would be great. You can pipe up on your microphone or even type it in the chat.
I'm just working on my first one now, and they aren't going to be traveling until December.
So where are you looking at putting them?
Riviera Grand Maya, or Riviera Maya at the Grand Palladium.
Yes.
That's what they asked about that. We talked about that yesterday, but
yep.
I'm thinking the Cantana, their lobby has been under repair, renovation. And so they were going to send people to another Grand Palladium to check in. So I called them today and to find out when they thought that the lobby would be finished, if it would be finished before December.
Right.
And it will. So
okay, good.
Yeah.
Now remember, they can tell you it'll be just finished by December, but they are on Mexican time and Caribbean time. So sometimes if they say this, but if it's been under construction for a while, then most likely they'll be good. But just remember that, if some resorts say, hey, we have a pool closed for construction, it's due to be opened, whatever time, it's always a good idea, like you did, Christine, to call and follow up, because, they do move on a different time than the Americans do. So, sometimes that can be a 30, 45-day delay depending, but it's always good to follow up.
Yeah, he said that it should be done by September or October. So,
okay. So they gave themselves a nice window, which is great. I would consider that to be more of the October date than the September date, but that's
Right.
just, that's kind of after you've dealt with that area of the world, you kind of get to know that, and that's perfect for them. They're extremely hard workers. They just, it takes them a little, they don't have all the bonuses that we have, so it takes them a little bit longer. But yeah, I would consider that then definitely to be kind of that October timeframe.
Yeah, so I'm glad that I called, because that,
Yes.
I'd rather put him at that one than the Colonial, which
Yes.
was the lesser expensive, because the other one that they were going to be shuttling everybody to check in at the other one was a lot more money, and I wasn't sure that they were going to go for that.
Right. Yep. It's
So,
all about finding out what their budget is and making them happy and sticking within that budget. So job well done. Linda's just getting started in booking travel. Congratulations. Welcome. Happy to have you. And you've only booked your own hotels and flights. That's the best way to go. The other people will start to follow and see how much fun you're having and give you a call to have them, have you help them. I always say use your own travels as your best marketing tool. So post all your own pictures on Facebook and take lots of pictures. It could be a road trip down, in the same state that you live in, but all the great pictures that you take off your phone, or even it doesn't have to be a super expensive camera. You can always post that to your Facebook page or your business Facebook page and draw business that way. And who doesn't love to travel for themselves? I've only been home for about a month from Costa Rica, and I'm already getting the itch to go somewhere. So we'll see how long that lasts.
Sounds very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys, it doesn't look like anybody has any questions, which is perfect. I will go ahead and hop off and end the meeting. But like I said, if something comes up, because we all know that once we get off of a call, we think of questions afterwards. So if you have something that comes up, feel free to direct message me or find me in the chat boxes and ask. I'm not the only one that can answer your questions. Diane is great. Justin has some great answers. Marnie's getting great on the booking side too. So we can all answer your questions. And if we can't, we know where to go and find those answers for you and help you get that client booked and get yourself a repeat client. So thank you all for your time today. I appreciate it. We all know how important time is and how busy we all are. So once again, cheers for the rest of the day. Go out and make it a great day, and we will talk to everybody soon.
bye-bye.
Bye.
You.
Have a good one. You're welcome.
You too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.